Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 25 of the Klingon Romulan battle cruiser build. Today we're going to actually start taking care of the seams and everything on the Romulan ship. Getting them all puttied up, sanded, filed, and all that stuff so we can get our last touch-up paint done and get to the decals. So let's get started. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back. We're working here on the Romulan D7, and I got my Wonderful Fest apron on. I picked one of these up because they were out of t-shirts, so next year get t-shirts immediately, and they were out of my size, so. But I got one of these, and I figured it'd be great for things like this where I'm sanding putty. Especially this red, the spot putty glaze is red, and it really gets all over everything. And you tend to get it all over your hands and touch your clothes, and you're always full of red dust on everything. So it's one of the reasons. Another reason why I wanted to get one of these is for this, or where I'm painting and it's I'm spraying and it's going to be a mess. But mainly I was thinking for this purpose here. So yeah, everything's, I filed everything, the top, after getting it nice and glued down, because this part, I finished the Klingon one, and because I didn't have the decals or anything for this. Now I do. So I went through and had to re-glue this section here. I don't know if it just never stuck well, and I just never paid attention to it because I just sat it aside until the decals came. And then filed all that plastic, because this one had some good oversize, especially on the wing areas here were quite overlapping. Filed all that, did some, especially up here, the front was really quite nasty too. As you can see, the white is the what is it, testers? Yeah, I think I used the testers. The testers contour putty, because I needed a much more stronger putty for that gap to hold really good, because that actually melts the plastic a little bit because it has a solvent in it. And then went back and touched up with the spot putty. Started off with a file to get to a rough stage, and then just been using 400 to get it down, and it's actually looking pretty good, where I think I can now use some of this. I've been applying this Tamiya's surface primer, which is great because you can, right out of the bottle, brush it on. It's a lacquer base, so it dries really quick. Or you can thin it out and airbrush it like our normal, primer. Especially like their fine primers that don't use up a lot of, hide a lot of detail. You can thin it however thick you want it. So it works really good for fixing up little imperfections in your puttying and filling gaps and little cracks and seams. Like that might be a little extreme. I might want to actually get in there and hit that with some more putty. But I got all in here and hit those, and they're looking pretty good. And then we'll give them a light sand and see if we need to apply more, and you just keep applying more. And you kind of want to work with this stuff fairly well and fairly fast, because it is a lacquer base and it will dry really quick. But if you lay it on heavy, it helps fill in some imperfections. So it's going to come in really handy right here. There's a lot of imperfections, and it sands really well. So yeah, we're really going to need to use it in here. You don't want to flop it too much because you're going to have a lot of sanding. But yeah, excuse me. But the nice thing is it does dry so quick. I think it's fixing that gap that was there where this bridge piece, this piece here comes up. There's a little gap there. Always happens. From the neck not wanting to be all the way up or whatever, whatnot. It fills that right in. And it might take a couple other tries to fill it in. You give it a little light sand to knock the excess off. And here you can just give it a sand and sand it away just like it's a thin putty. It's great. I got it both in a gray and a white, just to help for what, you know, different base coats I'm using, you know. Since I'm using a gray, I'll just use the gray. It won't take so much to cover it when the base color, once everything's sanded. Put it on real heavy on the corners to help toughen up those corners. Let's give it a try and see if it does close that. I just dabbed into that corner where there was a big hole. Now it's going to shrink, so I'm going to definitely have to hit it again. But let's give it a little dab, because we're going to sand it and see what happens. Yeah, look how thick. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. It really helps fix a lot of ugliness in a really easy and quick time, because it sands really easy. Now let's deal with the back ugliness. And that front was ugly, and now it looks wonderful. I don't know why I'm getting all weird throat all of a sudden. But there's a lot of seams and a lot of angles here, especially right there. So I'm going to kind of hit the whole side. So I can finally work that back into a shape. I'll even make sure I hit that edge, because it'll absorb in the putty and toughen it up. So when I sand it, it doesn't want to flake away in weird ways. But wow, it made a huge difference. Just one coat. I'm really going to do it up right there so I have plenty of primer to sand. So we're not burning through it all. Wow, what a big difference. Make this light a little more back. This light's tending to lean more and more forward. I think because it's clamped to a plastic table, this bench, and it's starting to, you know, squish in. I need to put some boards under it and then clamp it. But what a difference that made. Huge difference. I love this surface primer. The fact that you can do both with it, but I think I found the most use with it is for doing this. Brushing it on. Like I said, it doesn't have to get sprayed on since all this is getting sanded again. So any brush strokes are going to go bye-bye. And we want it to be heavy and like this because we want it to fill. So the only way to get it heavy without having runs and all that weirdness is just brush it on. Now if I want to use it for the final primer, where it'll seal everything up really good and nice and fine. Then you there was a little ding there for me. I had to try to pop that black piece out that holds the pipe again, because I was thinking, oh, I hope I didn't glue it in there, and I didn't. But it still was, it was a tight fit. It was a mechanical fit. And in order to kind of get that to work, when I get to go to do the decal, it would be a pain to try to cut around that. It's this little piece that came with the, and then the pipe sticks in there, and then this part stuck in the hole, and then that gave me the, you know, and I drilled a hole for the wires to go through, and then the pipe goes through. I have a couple little dings, but 99% of them are going to be underneath that, so I'll give it a light sand. I already did a little bit, but I'll do another light sand, and maybe I should hit it with a little bit of this primer. That would get rid of it. Any of the dings from using a screwdriver to pry that thing off, because it was on there good. Like, I don't think I'll ever have to glue it. It's just a good pressure fit. There we go. I'll give that a light sand, and I think that's it. But she's getting there, and it dries. Like, these are completely dry. I can start sanding right away. So it's a wonderful, you know, it's a wonderful product, because you don't have to sit there and say, okay, I got it all primed, now I gotta wait. It's pretty much ready, pretty much in no time. And especially if you're doing like me and you're hitting the whole edge, by the time you get all the way around the ship, like, the first thing you actually coated with the primer is definitely going to be dry. And it is a lacquer base, so to clean your brush you need lacquer thinner, so beware of that. I don't like to be using lacquers too much, but sometimes it calls for that. And there's all the chrome parts we got to put on once it's finally all final clear coats on. Those things have to be at the very, very end, because I don't want them cleared, or the chrome will just be pooped. Alright, let's see what we got. Not really seeing any of the seams themselves, which is wonderful. Maybe a little bit there. On this other side looks great. That looks good. I don't see the seam there either. Maybe a little bit there, but it might sand out. We'll give it a light sand first. See if it sands out. And there's the one with the hole. We're going to want to give that one a little more time. All this is starting to look really good. And man, that was an ugly mess. So I'm wondering, instead of 400, if I should go to the 500 for the sanding of a primer. Would probably be better. 400 was working good for the putty and stuff. Let's see what's going on here. Get out of the way. I'm knocking heads here. And we're pretty much going to be re-spraying this entire top. We'll see how the coats blend. In here I'll probably be able to brush a lot of it and then just come in here and touch up a little bit of it. And will tape off, so I'm wondering. Yeah, we'll figure which colors we want to do first. I forget how I did the Klingon version. I think I did the dark first, and then came back and no, I did the light first, and then came back and did the dark, because the dark is easy, because it's easy to tape this off. Like that. And I taped this off a little bit, but it didn't really matter, because I could just rebrush that silver. Things we just really want to keep clean is in the cells. So there's no reason to touch them up. We'll have to spray in here a little bit to get that better, but let's. I keep talking instead of working. And it sands so wonderfully. I probably could let it sit a little longer. Might even be able to go to an 800. Let's get in here. Try an 800. That would be better. Maybe the back and front where I really had to putty up, but this here I didn't really have to. And that 500 was putting a little bit of a scratch. It's still in the paint job. Yeah, that looks good. What'd I do there? Keep that. We'll do the first. Initial sanding. We'll come and we'll hit it with the 800. Clean up these edges with the 800. This is the one I think I might have to hit with another coat of surface primer. Looks great. Looks great and feels great. That's two good things. Another thing you want to see in your primers or your putties is you want to see that edge between the old and the new kind of feather and kind of like fade. That means you got a good fade between your repair and what exists. If it still looks like a sharp you know, kind of contrast between the two, then you definitely need some more sanding. But when it starts to get fadey like that, that's a good sign. I've learned a lot of that just doing drywall. It's the same way, sanding your spackle. Alright. Here's a little more, still a little contrasty. Not fading into the pear. It's going to be so nice to get this one done. But I got a lot of more sanding to do. But I just wanted to show you, update where we're at. We're getting there. We get this done and we get this painted. Start putting the decals on. I might start putting the decals on the base. It'd be my first work of trying the Hack Jacks decals. Hax Jacks? I forget. I got them from Etsy, on Etsy. I think they're going by a different name now, but the same designs and stuff. But got a little splatter primer, yeah. But I have those. I have decals from him for the Enterprise D's, the Romulan Warbird, and the Romulan Warbird is the one that's giving me like a bird thing that I want to put on the base. And it's more the modern Romulan bird. It's not this old school one that's going to be on here. But yeah, this one here is going to be actually, we're going to do the Bird of Pain. I'm going to try to make that bigger head work. He gave you 2 other head options. If not, I would do that one. But then you have that one. It's just, he stated it's a pain with this double compound curves. It's such a big head, so he recommends cutting right up inside those feathers, trying to get, so I'm assuming trying to get as much of the carrier film gone besides what's printed. I'm probably going to cut out that circle where it goes around that as well. Hopefully we can get it to go down. Maybe, you know, I might have to do it in sections. Maybe cut across from here to here. That's the thing you can't try. I wish I had 2 of them so I could see. It was like, do I just do that right away? That would be the place where you least notice a break in the decal. And after working on that NX1, I'm good at lining up decals again. Because most of it's black and it'd be really easy to line that up. So that might be a way to do it. Then it's those 2 flaps and then you just have that part there. Now that part there is probably where it runs into the most problem. It's where it gets skinny here. When that thing sits down, it's going to come like this. But I think most of it's going to come to here. So, because if that's going to go around that, that's got to be at least up to there. But we'll see. Should be interesting. But I'm going to try. If not, I'll move on to the next head. But I'm glad he gave you like 3 different ones to try. That's awesome. But anyway, I'm rambling and like always. But just got a lot of sanding to do, so I'll bring you back an update when it's time to paint. So, see you soon. Well, hello everyone, and figured I'd do an update. I got the light gray done, redone and touched up. All the top has been filed, puttied. Used the Tamiya's surface primer here to fill in any minor gaps and give a light prime coat over top of the putties. I see a little hair there. My cats have hair in everything I paint. And then I just taped off and sprayed the dark gray top. Taped off areas I didn't want to get resprayed. Sometimes it's easy just to respray the whole top, especially when I put a clear on it, because if you have like a clear, like a color with clear coats, and even though it's the same color and you paint over the clear coat, you can kind of see that layering. So I kind of blend it in. I'm gonna have to go back and do the silver parts there, but right now I'm just taking off the old masking tape. I just finished painting. Gotta be careful because it has wanting to pull off the gun steel on these nacelle ends. And I did tack them to my clothes so they wouldn't overstick, but that doesn't mean they're going to. Now here's the key: how these edges came out. Now I cleared the light before I did this dark, so a lot of times with acrylics, if it leaks through, you can just take a razor blade or something to that extent and scrape the edges nice and level. Oh, that looks really good. Now, I know I lost a little paint. Yeah, and I just lost some there, but that's okay. I can sand that and just touch that up before I do a final clear. Yeah, there, I knew I lost some paint. Right there. And that's where there's a fine piece of putty and just didn't want to stick there, so we can just touch that up with a brush, and I might touch up in there just to get a little better. But a lot of times if you have another color come over, if I have this sealed, I can just do that. I can just scrape that edge. The clear protects the coat paint underneath. And if you get any leakage, you can just lightly scratch. You can fix it. But yeah, I have a little bit of a boogery there, and definitely there it peeled some paint up, which, you know, I was kind of expecting. I believe that's all we're going to have as far as issues, but we shall see if we keep removing more tape. See what happens. A little worried about in that area there. Where this is right now, what I'm doing has been there for a while, so it should be pretty much settled. It's just where all this new paint is. Take my time. Like I said, you can come back and touch it up. And a lot of times I go from this edge, and it crispens those edges up nice. Hopefully we don't lose any here, because this is a hard part. That looks, it came off with no hitches, even in this rough area there where I'm trying to tape around that little piece there. But just because there's a tape line, and you just pick an angle and you scrape, and that gives you a nice clean. I'm not doing much with these acrylics, and I only did a real light coat. Oh yeah, that looks great. So we just got to touch those few spots back there from what it's looking like. In the back. There'll always be somewhere you got to touch up. Because it's best going this way. There's a hair there, but it's not going to matter because the Bird of Pain Romulan, there's that flame decal that goes around this edge, so it's going to be buried. As long as it's level, I'll just hit it with, it's going to get a clear anyway. So, and even, let's see how this edge came out. Get it. Wondering if I should come this way. Oh, it came off nicely so far. Oh, beautiful. We'll go across this edge. Anything that may want to bled over. Nothing really did. Really just removing that little bit of tape edge. I'm very happy with that. Especially having to do that again. Yeah, there's a little chip there. These are all minor. I might get rid of that piece of paint. That doesn't want to stick down. I'm gonna get rid of all of it. Make sure it doesn't try to peel up any more paint. You want to get it down good and get all the loose paint up. There we go. Get rid of all that loose paint. Give it a light scuff, as long as it don't start folding paint over from this edge. I wanted to, but we saved it from doing it. So that's a nice new edge we just did. There we go. That looks good. These broke off nice and even, so that's not a big deal. So we just got to get this last piece of tape. Carefully. Beautiful. So we just have those few spots to touch up. Not bad. Not bad at all. We'll go through and check any of these edges, make sure they're nice and clean. What's that going on there? It's like I hit it with a brush or something. I might even hit that with a little 800. It's the same color, so I just need to get it smooth, so when I do a full clear coat, it'll blend it right in. But we don't want difference in thickness. Just get a little light scuff. Beautiful. Yeah, I could be no more happy than with that. Yeah, especially that edge. And that's why you want to clear coat this before you put that on, because A, then the tape doesn't try to you know, peel up that paint, so it has something that can peel off better on a semi-gloss than a completely satin acrylic paint. But I could be no more happy. Everything looks good. Didn't get overspray on anything. I didn't want to, especially up here. All that detail work done there. We'll have to redo the silver parts there. But I'm almost wondering if I should do the clear first. Do the decals and then do my full satin. Or I think I didn't do these in a flat. You know, so I think that's what we'll do. And yeah, it looks really good. Very, very happy. But yeah, I just wanted to do an update. Just got to touch. I want to touch up this rim here because it was a little choppy. That was a hard. That's right up against that impulse engine. We got to touch that. A little spot there, which is not too bad because it's the same color underneath it. I think clear would have probably hide that, and definitely that corner there. And I got the sandpaper out. Best thing to do is give that a scuff. Don't you dare start pulling any of that up. And I was thinking about going over this area right there anyway, because I kind of saw a little bit of a imperfection in that little crease there. There we go. The sanding of it gets rid of anything that wants to chip up. And makes the difference in the height not so bad. There. There we go. Well, that should be all. I'm going to touch this up and get a clear on it. And then we're decal ready time. I can't believe it. Finally. There's a cat here that wants to stick on my paint job here. Off. All that looks good, but this is again gonna have all what they showed. We're gonna have the huge bird, just like the bird of prey. It's gonna have that huge bird, and we're gonna do the bird of pain. This was done and designed by John Payne, and so I'm gonna try the big head. JT added 2 other different bird heads that will go here that are a little easier. That one looks like it would be way easy. Let me get this light over here. Oop. Without turning it off. JT gave that head there, that's real thin, so that one really will make it because it's kind of a stripe. But this is the bird of pain one there, and that's the one I want to get on there. If the very least, I'll do that one because that one's a cool one too. It's very similar, just has less feathers up here, but pretty much these last 2 in the bottom are pretty much the same. So I'd be happy with that one too, but I really want to get that one there, the Bird of Pain, and that's going to take a lot of solvent, and since these are not factory decals, you really have to cut close to the actual print. And he also gave you 2 different style feet to choose, but like I said here, you have that flame effect going. That will be going all like coming up here, going like that, and then coming back down. So that's really cool. That'll all be there, going like that. Then you got those little symbols going on the sides, both sides. You got stuff going on in here on both sides, and you got some type of another smaller version of those here, or a bigger version actually, I think they're up here. That's all there is to it. And then there's some graphics going across here, some sayings, Romulan words, and I believe, yeah, in here. So we got to repaint these silver, touch those up, repaint those silver. I'll probably do the clear coat first, and then do the silver parts. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do those in some type of color. Most of them I see silver. I've seen ones with like a goldish piece there. Not sure. It's kind of neat having them like with a little gold there. So maybe this one, I have to look to see more reference. I don't know, because I have both this one and the Klingon. I don't know if both of them would have that. I see pictures of the round 2 thing there. They don't have it on there. They just have the silver. So we'll figure it out. Oh yeah, and then also we got to do the holes for up here, because now that I have the graphics, it's pretty much exactly like the Katinga. And I can choose any holes, because JT gave me, with his graphics, he gives you full-on blacked-out windows for all of them in the decals, and then he gives you full-on white ones that look like they're light. So I can actually mix and mingle those 2 decals. But I think I'm going to stick like with the other one and just do the holes, because the ovals are just too hard, especially at this small scale. So I'll just do those holes. That'll be here and here. And this one already has pre-drilled holes here and here. That's all I'm going to do on here. And then I got to drill my window holes for here on the neck. And it's just going to be 2 of them, because there's a square and 2 holes, and then 2 squares. So it's just going to be those 2 little holes. So we'll have 2 windows lighting on each side of here on the neck, which is cool. But yeah, this was a great, well worth the wait. This was. So, and hopefully tomorrow we can, after this clear coat dries, I can actually start on it. And then I'm gonna, on the base, this is from my Hax Jacks. This is from this is for my Romulan Warbird, or the Derek's ship, or whatever. I can never say that right. These are for the Romulan Warbird. That will go on, you know, the ship there. But the awesome thing, and that helps me give some paneling, and then I can do shadings and all those different color greens. It's kind of like, do I do the shadings first? But again, just like anything, these are not die cut, so I'm going to have to come in and cut all those. But anyway, and then these are just random stripes you can put anywhere. But these are going to be nice to put on the Romulan Warbird when I get around to her, which, yeah, she's buried. But the other thing is it came with a bunch of these Romulan birds that are small symbols, on the warbird. I don't feel like getting them out of here, but there they are. He gave me a bunch, you know, what, 2, 4, 6, 8 of them for whatever. I'm going to put those on the base. But these are like a blown up version of the small ones that are on the warbird in certain spots. I wish he gave me some small ones so I could stick some on here, but that's not a big deal. But yeah, I think those will work on the base really good. Even if I just get one on there, I'll be happy. I don't think I can get 2. Nah. I think if I just go right from the front and get that one on there, like that, and try to get it down as low as possible so the point only goes right to there, and then it's there. I don't know if I put one here and just do one on each side here, but I'm thinking I just put one right on the front here, and that'll be cool. So I got these out, and I'll save the others for the base for the warbird. But those are from Hackjacks. I found him on Etsy, and I got a lot of good Enterprise D Aztec decals. I got for both of those. I can't even remember what all I got for it, but I know I have the Enterprise D in the C. And here's my Romulan bird of prey. This is going to be the bird of pain. But yeah, now it's going to have this one's going to have that, you know, similar bird down on it. I can't wait to do this kit too. This is a nice kit. And the nice thing is it has the angled wings. So that's got a round base too, so I can put the normal round tube polar lights round base. But the greatest thing is with this bird of pain or bird of prey, a lot of decals, but that's going to have its big bird, is that unlike the older one, this one actually is going to have, I think it goes this way, wings that go up at an angle. The one version of this had the wings sitting completely straight. So that's going to be fun. And this shouldn't be too bad of a kit to build. Some nasty sprue connectors there. The only thing is just getting the accuracy on the windows up on the top. But I might just keep it simple stupid and just drill those out and either put fibers in them or just window maker. I think would be the best way to do it. Drill them out, do all of my painting, and then at the very end put some window maker in it. So, but yeah, that's going to be a cool kit. But sorry, I digress. Let me pull out the so I'll have 3 Romulan ships because there's not a lot of Romulan ships. But yeah, here's what I have the decals for. And that's going to give you all those wings and all that, and inside here. Yeah, and this is going to be a cool kit and a pretty crazy kit to do. As far as like all these shades, airbrushing, it looks like I'm going to do it like one medium color green and then come in with the light highlights after I do the decals, and I might just highlight the lighter stuff like they did there. And it's hard for you to see, but like they did the lighter stuff there. But yeah, so that comes in a round base. So I'll have 2 other bases I can put those, you know, so I can use 3 out of the, you know, We got 2, 4, 6, 8. I can use 3 out of the 8 of them. Oh, and since I'm just looking at it, here's my smaller version of the Katinga. This is from the motion picture. I have the 350 Polar Lights version, but this is the AMT Katinga. And I'm going to make this Kronos 1. I just got all the... it's going to be nice, because, you know, it's just fairly the same size as these here. But yeah, this is going to become Kronos 1. I got the engine grills for the back, and I got all the photo etching to make it Kronos 1, especially the we have a shot of the nacelles, but especially on the inside and in the nacelles, they light up on the Kronos 1. And I'm going to do that cool green. So that's really cool. I found that on Cult TV Man. He sent me an email and some stuff, and I was just browsing through, and I'm like, oh, no way. So now I can make this a totally kind of different version of a Katinga class. So yeah, that's cool. But as I was saying, trying to get these kits back where I had them. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put a clear coat on this, seal this down, since I'm happy with everything, and then we'll come back and we'll, you know, I'll go through and tape these off and paint all these silver spots, and then it's decal world time. So see you soon.